I'm originally from Guadalajara, Jalisco, which is a state in Mexico.
I'm from Cuautla, Morelos, which is a state that's right next to El Estado de Mexico and the capital.
I'm originally from Mexico. The state I'm from is in central Mexico. It's called Querétaro. And that's where my family's from. That's where I was born.
I'm studying biomedical engineering here at UW-Madison.
I think that there's a misconception that undocumented immigrants cannot get into college, and thankfully that is a misconception. So I was able to get in without a problem, and so are people who have grown up in Wisconsin. But financially, undocumented students do not have access to financial aid federally or statewide here in the state of Wisconsin. We can't apply to FAFSA even after getting deferred action, which is a 2-year temporary work permit, and protection from deportation for 2 years that you can renew every 2 years. Even after having that, you still don't qualify for federal or state financial aid.
Tuition was a huge one. There was no way we were going to come up with $30,000 to pay for the school. And it was very stressful on my parents because our income is so low. I have a single mom. And I wanted to come to the school more than anything in the world, but just money was just not going to make it possible. So I was so sad over that. And then there was also things about the school. It claims that it's like very diverse, but it's not. Compared to where I grew up in Milwaukee, it's really not. And I was afraid of how I would feel in this environment because I've always been surrounded by minorities majority my entire life. So I was also concerned about how people would treat me on campus. That was another major thing. And I was also afraid about, I didn't go to the best high school. It was pretty bad. It was really rough in Milwaukee. So I was afraid that I wasn't going to be academically up there to meet the demands of the school. Everyone's really nice, but I don't feel like they really understand what we have to go through. And I feel like they try, but they are limited to what they hear in the news, which is sometimes not very positive, and they are very judgmental when they don't know the full story.
And I felt like at UW-Madison, there have been a lot of people that come from very privileged neighborhoods or very privileged families, and they also aren't very knowledgeable, or I guess some people would call it cultured. They're not very aware of diversity, and so I've encountered that a lot too. That one of my friends, I actually met him in freshman year, and I was like, yeah, I'm Mexican, and he was like, oh, so you crossed the border, and I was like, what? Like, he automatically said that. Like, he said it was a joke, but to me it was not a very tasteful joke. But some people are very open-minded, so like I've learned that sometimes they will listen to you if you are willing to teach them about your story.
Personally, I feel like there's a lot more that can be done on UW-Madison's behalf for undocumented students, because I feel like they're often overlooked, and I kind of get the feeling that people think we're not here, and we are, and there's a lot of things that like we have a lot of needs that aren't taken into consideration because we're not like the majority.
My hope is that that's changing, and I think that much of it has been student-led, which is amazing, right? And it's amazing, and also I do think that we as an institution can do more and should do more, right? Because these students belong here, and these students are a part of the community, and they deserve to be here. And they deserve to be supported just like any other student that walks onto this campus, that earned walking onto this campus, right? And so I think that I have seen a lot of really amazing student-led efforts through different multicultural organizations, sometimes through the Multicultural Student Center. I definitely saw that coming through a lot in the spring semester, things like discussion groups, things like that. So one of the biggest things that we as students initiated last year as well was creating Dreamers of UW-Madison for that same reason, because we saw that efforts were not centralized and there wasn't much, right? And people still needed a place where they could convene and they could be themselves and they could come together as a community around the same issue that impacts not only them but also their families.
We wanted to make sure that students here on campus felt like they had somewhere to go to that would understand what they're going through. Because as minorities we're one thing, but as immigrants it's a little bit different.